Welcome back to yet another video. Ever yourself found yourself struggling with the performance issue because of this string concatenation in Java, or trying to figure out why your string operations aren't as efficient as they should be? Or are you tired of slow string operations and wondering why your Java treats strings differently from the other objects? In fact, this is one of the most frequently asked Java interview questions, and it also can make or break your code performance. So stick around with me to deep dive into why strings are immutable. We'll discuss the common misconceptions that can trip you up and how you can optimize your string handling like a pro. By end of this video, you will know exactly how you can tackle the problems and ace your next interview questions with confidence. So in this video, we will going to cover what is string immutability, why is string immutability important, what are the misconceptions about the string immutability, and best practices for working with the string in Java. So please stick around and watch the video till the end. Why is string immutable? Now, string are immutable. What exactly it means is that once a string object is created, its value cannot be changed. Its value cannot be changed. It means it. If you try to modify a string, the new string object is created instead of modifying the existing original one. Okay, so this is one of the important and the core design principles of Java. So which is making Java string a thread safe and also much easier to optimize, especially when you are working in a multi-threading environment. Now, why is string immutability important? Because we'll look into it. One of the important factor is thread safety. Now, Java string, which is it is an immutable as we say, they are inherently thread safe, right? So multiple threads which are accessing the same string object without the risk of data corruption. So it can be accessed without being data corrupted. So both the string 1 and string 2, which are both referring to the same object, it is because due to the immutability concept. Now, security perspective, if you see, immutability is going to refer or ensure that your data is that the sensitive data which is there, right, such as passwords, or you have some important file paths that cannot be accidentally altered or modified. Okay, so let's say the string class is often used for handling the file path. It is also used for the URLs and other security data. That's the reason it is important. Now, when it comes to performance optimization, Java is quite optimized when it is using the immutable string, right? So it is especially when you are using with the string pool, there is a pool called string pool, right? So there also an intern pool. So it is going to store the commonly used strings, which is going to save up a lot of memory, and it is also going to avoid your duplicate instances which you normally create. Okay, so let's say the string 1 and string 2, which are both referring to the Java as content, right? Now if you see both, even though there are two s1 and s2, they both are going to refer to the same object in the string pool. So that's the advantage of performance optimization. Now, caching and hashing. So basically, when your strings are immutable, their hash codes are consistent. Right? It should be consistent. Now, let's say you create an 10 object. So you're calculating the hash code for the same object. It is going to calculate and give the same number, right? So this is the especially used when your string is a key, when you're storing in the hash map, which is based on the hash based collections, right? Or if you're storing in the hash set. So that's the reason why it is important. Now we'll look into some common misconception about the string immutability. Now, string modification. So there is always a misconception that you can modify the string directly, right? So people also tend to make you confused that I've let's say earlier I have written s1 is equal to 100, later on s2 is equal to s1 is equal to again 200. I modified it. So how you denote that is an immutable, right? So however, string cannot be modified in due to its immutable capability. So instead, you are going to create a new uh, string instead of with the desired modification. So the one which is going to, let's say the string str is equal to hello. Now you concatenate with the world, right? So this is going to return your next new string, but it is not going to modify the already referencing on the existing object, right? The original object. So the output might be different, but you're not going to be the output is still going to be hello because you are not modifying anything as a string, right? But when you string str.concat, you will get a common hello world as it, but it is not going to modify the original string, which is going to keep it as an unchanged. Okay, so when you actually do a reassignment, okay, so you need to, let's say your str is equal to str.concat and the world. Then now this is going to refer to a new string, although it is pointing to the str now, but is going to create a new string of it. Now, string builder misunderstanding. So basically, we have a string builder, okay, or a string buffer. Basically, these are all mutable versions of string. So this is basically used for the string modification. It is often better choice when you are comparing with the string, and when you want your performance as a large number of modifications are happening, we consider these two things, right? So string builder is mutable, meaning it does not create a new object as and when we are trying to modify something in each end, right? So when you are creating a string builder object, right, so it is going to up and you are trying to append something inside, it is definitely going to modify the existing object. Memory overhead. Now some of the developers believe that immutability leads you to the higher memory overhead due to the objects creation. Now this is true in some cases, it may not be every time, but it is when it compared with the performance optimization, what string pools and the garbage collection give as an performance improvement, it is just minimal and it is quite efficient. Now let's look at the best practices. What when you're dealing with string in Java, right? So first of all, you have to use the string pool very efficiently. So always use string literals where your strings are being frequently accessed. So this is going to reference or take advantages of the string pool to save up some memory. Okay. So let's say you have created A and then B like with the same content, right? So this is the same content is going to make use of the string pool. Secondly, you should avoid using the string concatenation in the loop. So let's say you have a loop, right? Now you're making use of the plus operator to add it, but this is quite inefficient way of using it. And when your for loop or any of the loop is quite big in number, it can degrade your performance, right? So this is what this is because the strings are immutable, so it is going to concatenate and create every time the new object. So instead, you have to opt for the string buffer or a string builder. So these are mutable versions. Okay. Now we have two versions. One is inefficient version, which I have already mentioned. Like you should avoid using the plus concatenation operator and then under the for loop. The better version is making use of the string builder of then make it, trying to append it. So that's the better version and the better way to do it. Now we can when you're using string builder for string modification, you need to modify the string, right? Like appending, you need to insert or delete, right? You can use string builder or a string buffer instead of manipulating the immutable string. So that's what the it gives you a different methods to perform these particular operations. Now you want to for format some strings, right? Instead of concatenation, you can manually use that string format. So there is also a message format which is much more cleaner, especially when you are working with the multiple variables, right? We have John, let's say age, and you wanted to format that particular content, and in a dynamic way we can make use of it. String intern, basically this is one of the a memory efficient way of using it. So if you have a large number of strings, right, and you wanted to save a lot of memory, right, you can use intern method, which is going to ensure your identical strings are shared among the memory, right? So that is the benefit it gives you. So both are going to refer to the same object in the pool. Now we have to be very careful when we are using these two terms. One is equals and then double equal to operators. So these are both denoting to a different operation, and that they are meant for different purpose, right? Although they are said like equal to operator or like equality operator, but when you compare equals references, right, there are two different objects. So double equal to is going to refer the two references, right? It is a two different object, it may not be considered as equal, right? So that's even if their values are same, right, so they're going to point to a different object. Now equals will actually compare the actual content inside, no matter like they are referring to a different object and different reference point. If the content is same, this is going to return the true. To sum up, right, what we have discussed so far, like first of all, like why string is immutable, like because this, and why it is immutable. So basically it is for thread safety, security, and better optimization, so that it is carefully handling your string operations. Now we also discussed about the common misconception about it, like, and what we can use as an string buffer or string builder instead of string. Now how to how to avoid the inefficient use. We have discussed the very efficient ways of handling the string, and where else to replace with the string builder or string modification where we have modifications, right? And also we discussed about certain formatters which will make your clean code cleaner. I hope this video was helpful to you understanding what the misconceptions are, and what are why the string is considered as an immutable, and a lot of details we have discussed about it. If this video is helpful to you, please share it with the needy people. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon.